Hello everybody and welcome back for another Sunday look around the yard and gardens. I wanted to start up here in the studio so I can make sure to show you my favorite freak amongst all of these peppers. So yeah, let's take a look at that sand dollar. Look at all the color all over this plant. This is amazing. She was totally wilted when we got back from the trip, but peppers are delightfully resilient, so a nice deep watering and she's just fine now, which is fantastic. So those of you who wanted seeds from this, as you can see, I have plenty of peppers that did get ripe for me, so I will be in a pretty good shape for sending some of those out. Remind me again down in the comments who wanted them, and yeah, we can get started sending some of these beauties out. Was very excited to come back and see all of that color on that pepper plant though. Holy! Alright, so yeah, out to the yard and gardens to see what's still growing on out there. So coming home yesterday, one of the first things I noticed was that these fairy apples have gotten a lot more color. Still have quite a few of them on the tree here. Unfortunately our I don't know what to call it really, 2-year apple dropped most of its happy payload for us into the wind and onto the ground. So I'm going to go through there, see if there's anything I can rescue for juice or pie or anything, but it kind of smells like most of those are toast. There's a slightly baked apple smell to the area here. Still some very nice ones up in the trees though. So I should be able to salvage a few of those, get something done with them this year. Be nice to add some apple weight to our list of what we've grown this year. Anyway, moving on over there to the peppers. These container peppers were all looking pretty rough when I got here. So they've all been watered kind of heavily. That first one still needs to be watered again, and this last one you'll see in a second here still needs to be watered again, but all in all they seem to have survived. Here we've got the weary, seems to have put on quite a few little peppers. We'll see what comes of all that. The Nepalese bell in the Folgers container has got a second one growing on it here, so that's interesting. It's looking very pale and sad though, so I just don't know. The yellow ghost. We've gotten some good growth on a few of these peppers, that's for sure. I'm not seeing any yellowing from ripening yet. Few yellow leaves because it was, as I say, pretty hurting for water when I got home. But that's still quite a collection of pods on there, and there's some decent wrinkling. So these could be pretty darn hot when the time comes. Still gonna have to wait a bit on that though. Next to it here we've got the billy goat pepper. Not looking too great, but it does have a couple of peppers on it. Again, gonna have to wait and see what comes of all that. Was hoping to put this one back in the house. That's why it's in one of the containers with a bottom watering setup, but I don't know, we'll just have to see how it does. And then up here in the soil, we've got the Sugar Rush varieties. I believe this is the peach here first. Got a bit of a pepper going there. Not sure if it's supposed to look like that or not, but I shall see in time. Got the cream variety next to it here. Not seeing too many pepper starts on there. And then we've got the Sugar Rush Red over here. Definitely the tallest of the three. Starting to put on some buds. Don't know. Don't know if it's going to have time. The Primo pepper here seems to be doing alright. Definitely bushed out a little bit. Definitely got a lot of that telltale purpling in the stalk that I kind of use as a clue to see if it's going to be a hot pepper or not. So that's scary exciting. The Red Ghost Scorpion here looking a little wilty, but not too bad. And the Yellow Scorpion here looking very wilty, so I'm going to have to come by with a watering bucket for sure up here. But for the most part, shadow, everything seems to have survived my week of absence, so that is excellent. Interesting little thing Shocks has got going here. This is, I guess, one of the crates that the corn comes into the co-op. and she brought it home, put a couple of planters in there. It's quite cute. Definitely reinforces the idea I was having for some shipping crate gardens from, well, the shipping crates they get up at the Tractor Supply. These things are huge and fairly uniform in shape, so I'm thinking they still might work for along those railroad ties, because I want kind of a long, straight, raised bed, because that is a lot of sun that we get in that front yard, and that could be a lot of really happy peppers. Back to what's growing on in the here and now, though. Here we've got those so-called pine berries. I'm just going to call them strawberries from this point on and get rid of those little signs, but definitely putting on a lot of fruit, definitely putting on a lot of runners. Good solid proof that strawberries are an excellent investment for somebody who wants to do permaculture on the cheap. So many runners, so many free plants. So yeah, they're going to need a larger bed in no time. Maybe one of those shipping crates and just fill that right up with these things. Can't really have too many strawberries. That grape is suffering but surviving. Hopefully it'll make it through the winter. Kind of thinking I'm going to put this thing into the long shed and keep it safe from those mountains of snow that we get. It'll still get cold and used to the temperatures that way, and it'll survive or it won't based on that, but yeah, we will see. And on this side of the trellis we've got that broad ripple tomato I brought out. It does have a few fruit on it. This was dangerously dry when we got back, so I gave it a good flooding. It seems to be coming back okay. Didn't lose too many of its flowers. Oh, and there's another fruit cluster up here as well, so that's kind of cool. Kind of looks like I need to mow the lawn, but we can still find parts of the garden to check on here before I do. In amongst all this mess here, we've got the watermelons. Now, I checked earlier and I found it. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? We've got one little watermelon there. And got a slightly larger one there. So that's kind of cool. The Brassica moths have gotten they've been having a heyday with this thing. But I don't know if you can see it on the shot here. Way down at the bottom. That is getting huge, and I definitely need to do something with that. I was rummaging around in the cantaloupe, and I found this little guy right there. But a further examination also showed me that little one in there. Kind of look more like honeydews to me. I'll take either one. I actually kind of prefer a honeydew, but it was labeled cantaloupe, so ultimately that's kind of what I'm expecting. Interesting plant to grow though. Got to get in there and pull all those weeds out. But that can be said for the whole dang garden at this point. Here's our sorcerer pumpkin. This thing's coming along pretty well. Starting to get a little orange going on there. This is supposed to be red apparently. So again, it's one of those we will see what comes of it. I bought starts, planted them in the garden. Apparently pumpkins do alright with transplanted starts. There's that Manitoba variety tomato. Took off a couple of nice red ones from the bottom there. Gonna try and save some seeds. Looks very productive. Definitely not a really tall tomato plant. Good for maybe in the front yard. A little more sun. Lots of fruit on there though. And then this one between the pumpkins is the lemon boy. This has gone crazy. He's pulled the cage over. Actually broken the cage. Huh. Well, that's unexpected. I guess that cage will get retired. Take it up to the shop and tack weld it too, I suppose. But we finally got some color forming in that cluster down there. It'll be kind of nice to try these. Never had this variety before, so here's to hope. And then this little indigo rose that I thought was dead and didn't even know what was for a while. Lots of wonderful purple tomatoes forming on that. Should have plenty of time for them to get ripe on the vine and just get to that extra sweet stage I love so much. Kind of pan over the Chaos Pepper Patch. It's definitely living up to its name right now. Got some nice color coming in on a couple of those though. I think that's the sweet apple with the Cajun bell behind it there. I think that's the sweet apple. Gonna need to take the time to go through there individually in a couple of future videos, I think, but for now, this indigo rose is doing an amazing job of being more productive. They've always been really productive tomatoes for me, though. It's part of what I like about them so much. Oh, a bit of a wind kicks up there. So we'll take a second and go check out this back garden. Here we can see the crimson red pepper is living up to its name. Nice long healthy pepper there. Definitely good to try one of those soon. Oh, and the brassica moths have attacked my cabbage. Still haven't brought these guys in, but I'll go peel them by the compost until I get to decent cabbage. Assuming there's anything left, bring that in. Might be time to make some sauerkraut. Zucchinis are looking a little odd here, but there's still quite a few of them. And then we've got this one spaghetti squash plant. That one's looking a little closer to ripe. A little further down we've got a couple more that have started. Heading up across the garden there, we've got another one there. And then I thought I saw one up the vine here. Spotted it again. So we might get a few spaghetti squash out of this year. Would have been happy with just the one, but I'll be obviously much happier with more. I did decide to pull those volunteer tomatoes out because this is supposed to be a pepper patch. It's definitely time to go through there and pull out the weeds, though, because it's getting hard to tell where the peppers are and where the weeds are in some of this little garden area. Definitely time to go through and clean. But for some reason, this is the one where the eggplant is happiest. Oh, and looks like we might be getting the beginning of something on there. That'll be interesting to watch over the coming weeks. Hopefully it'll have time to actually develop. I'd like to have an eggplant. And then I guess finally this week we'll take a look at the bunker garden. My corn did not do well this year. And it kind of looks like something was sleeping in here while we were gone. Butternut squash, while it looks a little wilted, seems to finally be doing well. I thought I found a few squash starts on here. Definitely need to go through and water it, but there we go. Cute little beginning of something. Sure hope these actually produce for me. Again, it's one of the ones that I kind of bought a start for, so on one hand you're cheating, on the other hand playing to win. Short season gardening, what do you do? And that is where I'm going to wrap it up this week. I've got a crazy busy week ahead of me, but I'll be home to answer your comments and such, so yeah, let me know what you think of this week's video update, and I hope everything is growing along great for you wherever you are on this big old rock we call home. Take care, everybody. I will see you next week.